Welcome to Dear Business Coach, the podcast. My name's Elizabeth. Find one thing to move your business forward today with conversations, spotlights, interviews, articles, and free resources. Listen and follow and subscribe on social media. Dear Business Coach pages and groups. Dear Business Coach podcast. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and don't forget Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, anywhere you listen to podcasts. All it takes sometimes is one little thing to move your business forward today. Welcome to the Dear Business Coach podcast. Precious Brown of Sluggin Magazine. How are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Great, yeah.
Yes, there we go.
Now, I actually have a little write-up here from a profile that I found of yours on LinkedIn, and that's what I would like to share, if that's okay with you.
hmm That's not
Yeah, well,
that's kind of a nutshell. Yeah.
good. It's well written. Slugin the magazine, and that's SLUGN. The magazine is a print and online magazine that focuses
hmm
on gender equality, women empowerment, and the latest news that concerns women. Slugin the magazine plans to cover things such as women's wear, fashion, music, and other topics that will be likely garner interest. And I see here some featured links too. And so I was looking over. Also, I subscribe to the newsletter. So the magazine website is iamsluggin.com, and I subscribe to your news there too. So we can
hmm
unpack those. But tell me a little bit about yourself, Precious. How do you introduce
Okay.
yourself?
Well, I always start off with I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother, I'm a licensed cosmetologist, specializing in healthy hair care, dealing with customers with alopecia, and now working towards my hair loss prevention, where I really kind of say hair loss restoration service. And been in the industry for over 20 years, but I had got passionate about my craft over about 10, maybe about 12 years ago, and just dive right in to understand it when some people in my family start having hair loss and stuff like that. Within the past maybe about 5 years, we were starting to kind of notice it, and I started taking notice because I do the hair, of course, of the issues. So it started to be more and more. So I started actually taking classes to study trichology and understanding of the scalp. Um, to kind of better understand what about the hair loss. Outside of that, I'm a full service stylist. Still stand behind the chair, whereas I, have my clients, my routine clients every month. I also have a, uniform line, which is a professional scrub line that I provide services for our professionals like cosmetology students, barbers, estheticians, tattoo artists, just anyone in the professional realm. But I also service that do the hospitality and the medical as well for my scrub line. I have a luxury hair brand as well that I provide luxury hair for my customers because I customize wigs for my alopecia clients as well, or for anyone who just may need it. But I kind of make sure that's designated to my hair loss customers. Um, I just call myself a serial entrepreneur, a mother, a wife as well, but it's like me in a nutshell. Also, now as I am growing more into community based, I am working towards, I'm building my foundation. It's just called Take My Hand Foundation. It is a non for profit that I'm working towards with the youth. Um, Ages actually from 8 all the way up to about 2022. um, just educating on hygiene, self care, personal care, and making sure they understand the science behind having good hygiene, washing your hair, and keep yourself cleansed on a daily, which helps you, move forward in life. When your hair ain't good and you ain't smelling good, your body ain't good, you can't even function. So I provide little bags for of healthcare stuff like toiletries and stuff like that to the youth, and just educate. I also provide them show little hair services, that may be requested. But for me, in a nutshell, I'm just a serial entrepreneur, a plethora of resource, try to be there to help. Um, and I kind of I love to educate and push my people, for those that just, require a little bit more help.
Are you a LinkedIn user? If you are, you can join me for LinkedIn Live Audio with Elizabeth every week, usually on Mondays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I will have a LinkedIn Live Audio where we talk about podcasting for executives who speak and podcasting for team leaders who speak. These are the themes that are currently running. If that sounds like something you're interested, visit me, Elizabeth Walker at Work, on my LinkedIn profile. Well, that is, I have a lot of questions for you as far as your experience in the hair care and health of
Mhm.
hair and all of, and I have to put those on a separate piece of paper. That's actually amazing, really. I didn't have all of that information in front of me about your background. So I didn't know that. And I was thinking about my teenage daughter recently, and she's starting to drive. And one of the things I thought was maybe I can put together a what would be a goodie bag that would be things you wouldn't think of that might come
Mhm.
in handy, that you
Mhm.
need, that's personal care. And that's something that I've gotten, that I'm still figuring out as my age changes. I need different things with me every day
Right.
for this
Mhm.
and that. And it makes a huge difference, as far as, like you just said, being feeling good, feeling presentable. And I think that if you can find some good habits and somebody shows you some good routine, and if just a couple of good products, you might be well on your way to like changing your whole whole week.
Thought process, like you just don't know how a clean, refreshed face, feel, or a routine of, just learning yourself. Like girls go through so much from the age of, 8, 7, possibly. You can start your cycle as early as 9. So I
Hmm.
have younger clientele that I kind of talk to, and what that is the driving force behind the non for profit, which is my youth clientele, because it's like as they're growing. I'm normally their first. I'm their first hairstylist. I'm the first person to cut
Mm.
their ends. I'm the first person to uh, kind of introduce them to certain things when it comes to self care and personal care. So I like to always make sure I pour into them a routine to have, because only way for your hair to grow or to do stuff or be manageable, you have to create a routine. So me understanding them and just talking to them. And I just asked if you have someone that you can talk to, a place that you can go if you run out of, pads, or if you run out of, hygiene things and stuff like that. Would that be okay? And, I got a good response behind that. So it was like, okay, something that I know the community could use on top of me providing my unique care services. I still be able to show them how to do their hair, what I mean, give them a quick demo on something. So that's how it all kind of ties into my hair brand.
Yeah. So how do you do this? Or how did you start doing this? Did you start with clients that you had, that you knew? Did you start telling people, hey, I'm trying to start a nonprofit, and I would like to do this and this for youth, and here's what I have. How did you start that?
Well, as far as the nonprofit portion, yes, actually, I just actually God dropped something in my spirit to always be a resource, and I'm very helpful. That's one thing that, if they ask about me, I'm there to service. So I am in the service-based business, and it was, what can I do to help my community? What would I be able to bring outside of what I'm doing? What can I do to make things a little bit better for the community and where I'm at? And my portion was, they know me for doing hair. If nothing
Hmm.
else, they know me from doing hair. I've been in this area that I lived in for all my life. I'm actually living in the house that I was born in.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
literally, this is my community. So they know me from doing hair. So it's like, okay, I can tie that into them understanding. I understand their movement of, hey, hygiene is very important. I need you to know that sometimes you may need more than one bath, or you may need to, you may perspire, a little bit more, because I'm very personable with my clients. So we talk, and I reached out to one of my church members, and we were actually talking about it. And she let me know that she's already in, part of a cafe in the non-for-profit. I was like, something told me to have a conversation with you. And as I was having a conversation with her, things just
Yeah.
kept downloading into me, and everything that I kept running into was adding to what I was trying to put together. And it just kind of fell into place. So it was like, okay, this is it. I
Yeah.
actually found somebody that I found that location, a little cafe where I can maybe host a little small community event, and I sat in with them, and they opened up the doors of me understanding about a non-for-profit. I actually joined a grant program, grant community, just so I can better understand how to build
Ooh.
grants and do different things like that. So I just kind of dived on in, and with me having one of my close friends actually already doing it, it was like a lot of my people was just kind of downloading different information and for me. And one of my friends had a cafe that deal with the youth at the high school, and it was like, look, we are talking about the hygiene and we're talking about personal care. I thought about you. I said, well, great. So if you are following me, or if you see me, if you're on one of my Instagrams, you'll see a video, or Facebook, me with Walmart bags, and I passed them out. We gave them out to the kids. I did a presentation. So I did my first presentation, and was happy about it. I got a good feedback from the children, but that was like really my help, I should say. Just communicating with my people, and everybody just kind of like, hey, yeah, that sounds good. This is what you need to do. This is what. So it kind of all fell with my resources, with my connection of people. So that's how that helped with me.
Hmm. Yeah, well, that's you like I love those stories of like in the right place and in the right time. But you're also looking and open when somebody says, "Hey, by the way, I thought about you." That is the best compliment, is it not?
No, that's the best. That's the best. That is the best.
Yeah,
Um,
I want yeah, I thought, hey, I thought of you.
I thought about you, and would you be available? And you know what? I will make myself available just because I know you thought about me. So that was great.
Yeah, and so you are actually you're saying that some friends, some colleagues were already kind of using a space. They had somebody has a cafe or or is using a cafe as a space and was connected. That was also a space where you could already invite who you were trying to speak to. Is that kind of how that worked too? And you
Well,
were
the
able to bring gifts.
Well, this particular time that I'm talking about is they were doing a cafe at the high school already, and they have a monthly thing that they monthly meeting that they do, and I was invited to their particular meeting. But with when you're asking about who kind of helped me and kind of put it together for me, um, it is a program of I believe the place is called Haas. It's a place around my home that hosts different little cafes and things for the outreach for children already. And they had a program there, so I sat in and was speaking to one of the mentors there, and she was like, "We have a place we called the living room, where you can kind of introduce." Your thoughts and your non-for-profit at. So that was just an extra piece, for me to have a space to kind of bring people in. But I brought gifts and stuff to the school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's, you're doing all of the things, that someone could put together as a roadmap, right? Be
Yes.
available, have something to offer, but you
Hmm.
already were thinking in this direction. And you
Mm-hmm.
said you joined to sit in, and that's actually, the kind of thing that I think about all the time. Who would let me just be a fly on the wall and say
Right.
hello? And it's actually, not as easy as it sounds, because
No, it's not.
you have to
Definitely,
be
you most definitely
invited.
have to be invited. Yes, you did. You have to be invited, and also you have to act like you want it. You have to be want to be driven. Not just to consume somebody else's stuff. I'm building my own. I just really wanted to, get the tidbits from somebody else to make sure I was kind of going in the right direction.
Well, I have to ask you about your magazine. I
Hmm.
know I on your profile, that's what I see. And of course, I asked you if I could read your about section there. And so the magazine, if I actually look at the experience section, right, I can kind of peek over there. It says that you've been doing the magazine for several years now. Is that right?
The Slugging
Mm-hmm.
magazine, being a part of the Slugging magazine. I've been
Mm-hmm.
around slugging for a long time. Actually, when I very first opened up my salon, I opened up my salon in 2017, 2018, and 2019. I actually started working with them, and we worked on a Carl Thomas piece. He was doing a book signing, or he was doing something like a little tour he was on. So we were going to work towards him coming to the salon just to kind of deal with some marketing and, building up the business and the brand and stuff. But since like 2019, I actually have been interacting with the brand. Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So and I guess one of the main things that I want to remember to ask you about when we're talking here is, how do you want folks to get in touch with you, and what do you want, people to do when what can I do when I find you? Do you want me to subscribe to you? Should I look at a way to to contribute, take a look at what you're doing with your nonprofit? Where would you like me to get in touch with you online?
So typically when somebody's searching me, of course now we have this following thing. Either you
Mm-hmm.
following me on social media or you DMing me. I don't have a specific subscription just yet for my brand. I am building, but I do provide my links for all my services. Like for my uniform line, I have a website. For my hairline, I have a website for you to go and purchase, and always make it available, like through LinkedIn, or if you needed to DM me or something like that for a conversation piece. Yeah, I actually always tell you to just either send me a message or email until like something like that comes about.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I like to make sure is ask, how do you want to be contacted? Because I always tell folks, giving an action, probably I would want to find out how I could learn about you, and then am I going to am I going to go to one of your marketing events? Am I going to
Hmm.
get involved with your nonprofit? So those are the things that would like to highlight. And also, while we're talking about this, you we have a chance to also share this in the magazine. So in the Dear Business Coach podcast magazine, the article about your interview today will be there to show some of these highlights too. And we're talking on at the end of March 2025, and it's Women's History Month. And so
Hmm.
I know that was something that you and I kind of exchanged some comments over, as far as it well, what, let's talk about that and get this episode highlighted for Women's History Month. In fact, you provided a flyer for today's recording, so thank you. Looks really good. And so
Hmm.
it's posted now on my LinkedIn feed, and on yours too. So that flyer will come up again with this episode. But in the meantime, what would you like to share? Do you think, right now, what's your interest in Women's History Month?
You know what? What I found in this month, and it is just kind of crazy. Like that, actually, it happened unintentionally, but of course, everything is always intentional. But
Mhm.
this particular month, I've helped a couple of women in building their foundation in their business. Like a lot of my ladies that I ran into, like to be the entrepreneur, but the foundation is shaky. So what
Mm.
I did was I built a little, I'll say a 1, 2, 3 plan of building your business, your foundation of your business. So I now have a a ebook that's going to come out. So I kind of been helping my ladies,
Mm.
just help them build a the foundation of their business, like making sure that you know the importance, because to move on, to grow, to be an entrepreneur, you actually need to make sure that the foundation of your business is structured properly. So I guess more so for me in this particular month, it's been helping my entrepreneur women, just making sure that their foundation in their business is steady.
Well, so okay, without giving away all of the details from your ebook, where are some places that I would start with looking at my foundation? What do you mean by that?
Meaning, like, the name, first of all. I mean, have you put the name together? Is the name available in your state? Is it a
Mm,
actual, is it a legal name? You know, are you able to publish this name?
mm-hmm.
And once you find out if the name is great, then you can go ahead and move on to the next components of providing a, which is this is something that helped me as well as I was building this. Now I just now fix my professional emails, you know, my professional phone numbers, and just making sure you have your legal structures in place, like your EIN numbers for um,
Mm-hmm.
your IRS, and your state guidelines is particularly done. So that's one of the main things I was making sure that I have done.
Yeah, that's that's a good reminder, right? You have to have the right to do business. That's the way I pulled that phrase from somewhere and it stuck with me. Yeah, you have to have the
Hmm.
right to do business. So that's
Right.
helpful. And sometimes it's those little things that matter. I actually started with one name for my business, and then uh couldn't really decide if I had it if I was saying what I really wanted to say with the name, and
Mhm.
then made a change later. And so sometimes having someone to talk to about,
Yeah.
yeah, let's get, what can I get some feedback on
Right.
the name of my business and what do I do to make it legal? And exactly like you said the um, make sure that you have professional email. That's actually something that is easy to overlook. You get started, you say, hey, I'm open for
I
business,
did.
office hours, and then
Yeah, I
how do
did.
you contact people? And it's some old email
Hmm.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I just learned that doing this as well as dealing with my non for profit, they don't want Gmails and
Mm,
things like that are not considered extra professional.
mm,
So they prefer to have a domain type email. So I've just been learning a lot of tidbits of little droplets of gems to understand how to be a functional business. How to make sure that you're fundable, how
mm.
to make sure that you're able to get the proper looks, because sometimes when you're going after certain things, if you don't have a website, or if you don't have certain things to verify who you are, you can get overlooked.
Yeah. Now, would you say, in your experience, right, if I was asking you for some guidance and getting started, which is true because I'm still new at this. So wait, basically, one of the things that I, would like to know is, does it matter? if my website is kind of static. If I have dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com or walkerconsultingworkshops.com, there's not a whole lot there. I have some information and a few buttons, and hopefully gives you a presence of who I am to start out with. I mean, is that, acceptable for now?
And you know what? I always tell them, you always want to make sure your brand is, even on your website, is representing you.
Mm,
Is this something that represents the type of business that you want, or something as simple as brand colors, right? Like brand
mm,
colors on your website. It can make it look, I ain't gonna say cheesy or, spammy, but if you're a bright and bubbly type of person, you want to make sure that your website represent you as being a bright and bubbly person. You don't want it to be dull, and then when people meet you, they be like, well, it don't match. I mean, even though you just put up something just to get it going, right? That's not a problem. It's never a problem. It's just when you want to get on a certain professional realm, you want to kind of make sure um, you represent your brand, all around the board. There's a uniqueness. There's
yes.
a seamless, to kind of go with it. And I'm speaking from experience. Speaking from a person who had to go back and correct it, had to do two
Mm,
emails, had to do two
mm,
websites because one looked like this and it. So I'm speaking from a person who's done it a couple of times. Yeah.
yeah. Trial and error. Well,
Right.
that's how you learn sometimes, I guess.
Hmm. That
I-
is true.
you said something a minute ago about representing your personal brand, and if it doesn't sound like you, that is so true, and that's really actually challenging when you're staring at your own work for so long, right? If you are making your own website, if you're doing it
Hmm.
yourself. And I don't even mean I can't code. I'm not doing anything complicated. Just choosing what photo, what font, what colors
Hmm.
can be difficult. So I
Yeah.
do you yeah, do you find that it helps to be a second set of eyes for somebody to just
Oh
say,
yes.
uh
Yes. I'm a big person of mentors. I'm a big person of conversations with a consultant. I'm a big person of having somebody who've done it. If I lack at the time, I was lacking organization, so I needed to have a operations person, somebody who is organized, and as I needed to speak with that type of person to kind of understand what I was lacking, like that is their job. I'm a hairstylist, I stand behind the chair, but their
Mhm.
job is to say, hey, on a certain level you want to be looking like this, and what it did for me was for me to talk to somebody, have somebody look at the things that I was doing and say, hey, we can make it better here. We can make it better here. I've had these hiccups and this and that, different things. But I always tell people that whatever it is that you're working on, make sure you have a mentor or someone who can help you and guide you in your field of I ain't gonna say perfection, but professionalism, because it just really depends on you. Just may not care about that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm,
You just may not want to go that high. You just want to probably do a little something. It may just be a hobby for you. But if that's the case, then that's fine. But if it's a professional thing and that you're trying to take to another level and you have to understand certain levels require certain things. So I just
mhm.
always have somebody that's a little bit more information, above me to look at my stuff and say, hey, okay, help me be accountable for what I need to do. What helped me. So that's how I do that.
Right. Now, do I have access to your ebook yet? Can I get?
No, you don't. Not
Okay.
yet. Not yet. It will actually. Once I come back from this conference, I'm going to a grant conference this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Um, and once I'm over the conference, then I'll be able to kind of get that done.
So I have Precious Brown and Sluggin Magazine. So we'll make sure that your link is in the show notes and on the video. And
Hmm.
then, definitely come back when you can and look out for this episode on my goal is to release it on Sunday for Women's History Month. And so,
Yes, yes.
Precious Brown, thank you so much for coming to the Dear Business Coach podcast today. I hope you're having a fantastic Women's History Month.
Yes, I'm actually. It has been very interesting because I've been able to talk to some interesting people from all over. Like this is about my third sit down, and I spoke to
Oh,
someone from
nice.
India, and it's, speaking with you, and and I think you're in New York, right?
I
Um,
wasn't, I'm in Virginia. I was
oh, you're
just
in
talking
Virginia.
in New York. Yeah, I did a
Oh, okay.
workshop in Queens. Yes.
Oh, okay. And I'm like, I like just speaking to women all over, and everybody
hmm
having a uniqueness about them. So it's been real interesting. So I'm happy about it. I really am. But I do
Yeah,
thank you
well,
for your time.
it is exciting to be able to cross each other's paths, and this is
Yes,
what's fun for me, so I really appreciate it. Well, thank you, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll talk again next time.
yes, yes. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Precious. Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Hey, listeners, don't forget to subscribe to email if you haven't already. Do this at dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com. And if you are a new subscriber, look for the magazine coming up. You can get a free download as a new subscriber. That's dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com. Thanks so much, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Remember, you are a superstar.